CJOB 68 is your source for news and stimulating conversation. Your community, your opinion, your news. Live, local, first. We are the information superstation. CJOB 68. This is the Winnipeg Business Report, brought to you by the Winnipeg Chamber of Commerce and Manitoba Hydropower Smart for Business on CJOB 68.
8 minutes after 7 o'clock. Welcome to the show. It's John McLeese. Thanks for joining us. We're now Wednesday nights right here on the Superstation. Got a big program for you tonight. Do you have an idea that you'd like to build, but you don't have any access to the right tools, skills, or space? Are you a maker of things or an inventor who wants to join a community of like-minded individuals? Does your business need access to affordable equipment to build prototypes? AssentWorks, a new prototype facility in downtown Winnipeg, where you can make your invention or your new idea come to life. Well, I have three gentlemen in the studio with me that represent an organization that can help you with your invention or your idea and get it to market. Let me introduce them to you. I have with me here the chair of AssentWorks, Michael Legary. He's joining me. Michael, welcome.
Hello, thank you.
It's good to have you here. I have Carrie Stephenson. He's a director. Carrie, welcome.
Thanks for having us.
And David Bernhardt, another director of AssentWorks.
Good to be here.
So you three guys, now this is an interesting little operation. Each of you have your own businesses.
Yeah, that's correct.
But what you've created here with AssentWorks, which by the way had its grand opening on October the 27th.
Yeah.
You've created somewhat of a location where people can come and bring their ideas and potentially even build a prototype. Why don't you start, Michael Legary? Tell us a little bit about the organization called AssentWorks.
Sure. Essentially, what we are is we're a non-profit makerspace. So, really, what it's about is essentially is we're a facility where people with ideas who want to build products, build new business ideas, can come down and get access to literally hundreds of thousands of dollars of equipment they couldn't necessarily afford day one, and focus on building their idea, building a prototype for financing, for justification, before investing in all the equipment that may or may not make them successful. And then once they have that in place, work with our support network of all the other great enablers that already exist in Manitoba to get that business funded, move the idea, from that bread box concept out to something they can distribute worldwide. And it's really all about us doing this. It's not for profit, 100% volunteer based, and at this moment we're entirely done without government funding. It's about industry supporting industry.
I gotta say, this is unique. So it's about the building of a prototype. It's about getting something done so you can go and show it to people. That's the biggest barrier for some of this, right?
That's it. When you look at the average entrepreneur, the stories always start the same way. I had an idea. I spent some money trying to build it. It failed. Magically, I survived somehow. I tried again, and here I am today, this very successful multimillionaire running all over the place. But the stories always start the same way. The challenge is that, unfortunately, there's a lot of stories that end with that first chapter. And if we can have more folks in Manitoba inventing, having more failures, therefore more successes, they can hopefully have more businesses here locally.
Carrie Stephenson, he's a director of AssentWorks. How did you get involved? Tell us a little bit about your background. Why do you feel passionate about this?
Well, I'm an IT guy, and for some years as a sideline, I've been blogging about 3D printers, which is a 21st century manufacturing device, kind of like a Star Trek replicator. I did a TEDx talk on this last February. And in the audience was Mike. And Mike had this idea of a makerspace brewing for some time. And he caught up with me afterwards, and then a bunch of stuff happened, and here we are.
Wow, but that's also cyber, because to what you just said was like, how you guys met on that whole TED experience, which is becoming a great way for information and ideas to change hands now through the through the internet is just amazing. Let me introduce you all to David Bernhardt as well. David, now tell us about your background and how you got involved with these characters as well.
I have an industrial design background. I went to school in Toronto and then returned back to Winnipeg to start my own design firm. And was in Winnipeg for about 2 years, and then I was looking around and seeing what's going on, and I really couldn't find other designers, even even people that I could hire as a designer. I had to actually bring people in. So I started going to a few different networking circles and seeing what's going on, and Michael's name came up a few times. So it just so happened that one day we went to another networking area, which was more computer-based, and I heard Mike's name. So I went and I talked to him and sat down, and he did his quick pitch on AssentWorks, which was about a 4-slide PowerPoint. And I was sold. I said, where do we start? And he said, in about a week we get possession of the space, and we'll go from there. And that's where it started.
So let's go through the logistics for me. You have to pay rent on space for this area. Mm-hmm. How do you guys recover the cost? Like how does that happen? Is that from the people that are taking advantage of the services? They pay something to utilize the equipment?
Yes. Yeah. So essentially, everything is a membership fee based.
Okay.
So we have members.
So I have to become a member to become part of AssentWorks?
Exactly. And so our membership fees are anywhere from $125 for business to $75 for education, down to $50 a month for an annual volunteer membership. So it's extremely competitive. Well, actually, competitive is even the understatement. We're doing this at cost, and that's really what gives us the longevity. Is that now instead of somebody paying thousands of dollars a month in a lease on one piece of equipment, now that shared access gives us all access for really pennies on the dollar, and that's what it's all about.
So if I wanted to invent a new board game, for example, could I use some of the tools in your facility to make a prototype of this game so I could shop this around, take it to the bank, take it to other investors?
Absolutely. Really the key thing with it is essentially be it the access to some of the printing equipment we have, some of the CNC equipment we have.
What's CNC?
Basically, it's a computer-aided design and computer-aided manufacturing equipment.
I see. Gotcha.
So when we look at it, one of the biggest barriers you have for a prototype is if you build it by hand, building 100 of them will be a challenge. Nowadays, thankfully, you can build one and then build 1,000 tomorrow in the exact same way using anything from our CNC equipment to the 3D printing equipment that we have. So it makes prototyping turn into manufacturing extremely quickly.
Well, let's just quickly go over. What kind of equipment do you have there, Carrie?
Well, we have equipment that goes beyond what you might find in a typical person's garage. We have the usual set of woodworking tools. We have probably every conceivable hand tool you could possibly get, thanks to one of our sponsors, Princess Auto. We have a number of these fancy CNC machines that Mike mentioned. One of them is called a ShopBot wood router, and you can basically take a 4x8 sheet of wood, tape it down, and then this thing you can print a shape onto it, and it'll carve it up very quickly into whatever you want. So you can imagine printing a very elaborate wood door on this thing. We also have a plasma cutter coming in, which is a similar kind of device where you can take a 4x8 sheet of solid steel and carve it up into whatever shape you want. We have a couple of 3D printers that can print arbitrary shapes in plastic. We have a laser cutter that can cut plastic, leather, wood. It can engrave metal and glass and other things. We have control chambers to take your prototype and test it against different temperature ranges, humidity, that sort of thing, with monitoring controls on it. We have a CNC metal mill, so you can take a chunk of titanium and carve it up into something really interesting.
So, okay, now,
and so on.
Right, so lots of equipment. Now, who runs that equipment? I come in with an idea. I don't know anything about building any of these things. Is that where you come in, David? You've got folks at your company that know how to design and pull it together. Like, who comes and runs all this stuff?
We're community-based, and it's pretty much volunteers who are also members.
So you're finding experts that can help build the prototype.
That's correct. And if they're not experts, a lot of people will go and do the research on the machine and then take ownership of it, which means that they'll take it from installation to pretty much plugging it in to actually using it. And once they get to know it throughout, then they can teach other people. And we have an education section that we try to educate people on how to use the equipment. So we're setting up that every 2 weeks on a certain day we'll be teaching people a new piece of equipment. And then we hope that once the majority of the people know how to use that equipment, they teach it to the new members.
David Bernhardt is a director, as well as Carrie Stephenson, another director, and Michael Legacy is the chair Legary, my apologies. Michael Legary, pardon me, Michael, is the chair of AssentWorks. AssentWorks, AssentWorks.ca is the website if you'd like to go there. Find out about all of the things that we're talking about. Find out about becoming a member. Find out some of their resources and also some of their sponsors, the Eureka Project, Princess Auto, and Securus Incorporated. I'll talk a little bit about them because you obviously got some great partners that are helping you with this.
Absolutely.
We'll come back. We've got to check the weather, and we'll come back and talk more about AssentWorks. Are you interested in inventing? Are you interested in getting involved in helping others take their product to market? That's what we're talking about tonight on the Business Report from CJOB 68.
We'll return with more business news you can use on the Winnipeg Business Report, brought to you by the Winnipeg Chamber of Commerce and Manitoba Hydropower Smart for Business on CJOB 68.
We're talking about a great incubator, a place where you can come together and build, a place where you can meet other individuals of like minds who are trying to maybe bring a product to market or maybe could help you bring a new product or an idea to market. It's called AssentWorks. www.assent, A-S-S-E-N-T, works, W-O-R-K-S.ca. In studio, Michael, Carrie, and David. Michael, the chair, and two of the directors of the organization. Gentlemen, it is fascinating. It truly is. I wish we had more time. But let's just delve into a couple of things. First, let's talk about sponsors. Like, this wouldn't happen without some great corporate sponsors. Talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Really, because we're entirely industry-driven, we're aligned on industry stepping up to the table and putting money where their mouth is and shaping what economic development looks like. And right now it's been the Eureka Project, they're essentially a business incubator, business support network, where an organization basically that comes from our basic prototyping environment, they can now leverage the resources the Eureka Project has to become a real business. We've had Princess Auto and the Tallman Foundation actually back us from providing an amazing array of equipment in kind that's allowed us to provide a way more capability than we could before, and also help us from an education perspective get involved with a different set of folks. And Securus Incorporated, from my personal interest, where we're really helping support the business community locally in Manitoba.
But you're looking for more sponsors, am I right, gentlemen?
So that because this is industry-driven, these core sponsors are the kinds of businesses in Manitoba who are committed to economic growth here. It's an entrepreneur complaint you hear all the time as well. What if there was more in Winnipeg? Only if there was more in Winnipeg. Put the money where the mouth is and help shape it. And that's where we're looking for 3 additional sponsors to help round out our founding sponsors, a named sponsor to actually help lead us, and really solidify the investment we've already made and already got going to provide a wider array of services to more folks, really build the growth here in Manitoba.
So there you have it. And www.assentworks.ca is the best way to get a hold of you. Michael Legary, you're the chair. So anybody that's interested out there, you want to find out some more information, get a hold of Michael. And I'm sure you can connect with you, Michael, through the website.
Yep.
Connect with you through the website here that I just mentioned if you want to find out more about the business. And Carrie, tell us about Tuesday evenings. It's open house night.
Well, the facility operates like a health club kind of. You get a pass to go in and you can use the machine. So normally the door is locked. But on Tuesday nights, we open it up for the public to come in and have a look at all our fantastic equipment, meet some of the members, sit in on our meetings, and find out what's going on and what it would mean to be a member.
Wow, that's what a great idea! So come and kind of kick the tires of the whole approach that you're putting out there. Tuesday nights are fairly busy.
Yeah, and Tuesday nights are, I say, where the magic happens. You can see new members come, or I guess potential new members who more than likely become new members, and they look around the room and we do quick introductions, and there's connections made instantly.
So you're talking networking. This is great networking as well.
It's the only place, I think, in Winnipeg that you can get these types of people together. Everyone from engineers to designers to, I mean, we've had everyone from accountants. It's just a huge array of people that can help anybody build their business, or anybody can, I guess, the community comes together and just helps each other. That's the main goal behind the community base.
So what type of projects are going on there, or is it confidential? Can you share with us? Our listeners will want to know.
There's a couple of young fellows. I think they're actually still in university. They are building snowboards in the middle of the night.
Yep. They're going to school.
Yep.
They've probably got jobs, and they're trying to come up with a better product.
Yeah. Yeah, we have architecture students coming and using our laser cutter to help them finish their projects. We have actually founded businesses that and entrepreneurs who require access to specialty tools, where they run into the place where they could get one of their production lines to experiment with this, but why take the production line off when we could do this experimentation ourselves at AssentWorks? So they're building entirely new product lines for their existing businesses, and a little bit of everything in between. Folks experimenting with new ideas, refining current ones, and it's always just a continual networking of people and skills that hadn't had a chance to come together in Winnipeg before.
And they're here now. This is fascinating. I got to say, I'm quite interested in this. So, gentlemen, I'd like to have you back again another time. Absolutely. So we can talk a little bit more about this. And maybe we could bring in, if they're willing to, some inventors who have gone through the process and talk a little bit about their experiences. Michael Legary is the chair of AssentWorks, and he is joined by Carrie Stephenson and David Bernhardt, who are both directors of AssentWorks, www.assentworks.ca. AssentWorks is located on the 3rd floor of 125 Adelaide, and it is opened Tuesday evenings. Come on by and see what the heck is going on. It sounds exciting, gentlemen. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Stand by. We're going to take a break. We'll come back and find out what's going on at the Winnipeg Chamber of Commerce from the Business Report. I'm John McLeese, and this is CJOB 68.